Hello and welcome. This is Step 5. If you're going in the series, if not, this is just TinkerCAD basics. This is all the things that you need to know to do TinkerCAD like a pro. Today we're going to cover name keychains, just how to make names print well in your 3D printer or to cut them on a laser cutter or even to etch them on a CNC machine into acrylic or into soft wood or something like that. So anyway, here we go. I have been digging through forums, and a lot of people have problems exporting these particular projects just because the letters aren't touching, the things break apart after a few days of use, and so on and so forth. So today we're gonna learn how to make these keychains, letter keychains, word keychains, whatever you want to call them, keychains, in a way that works perfectly every time. All right, here we go. So this is a keychain. I've made this in about 30 seconds, 45 seconds. It's got three parts. It's got the key ring, where the key ring goes, where it's going to stick to whatever is going to hold it up. It's got the word Sarah on it, and it has a lock at the bottom. Now this is the important part, this particular lock right down here at the bottom. So what do I really mean by lock? Now this white bar is literally locking our letters together. So if without this little bar, if I was to delete this, and what would happen is you wouldn't have a keychain now, would you? Because these particular letters are not touching each other. So the S is not touching the A, which is not touching the R, so on and so forth. So when I print them, they're all gonna be separate little pieces. Now, when I go ahead and bring that bar back in, this is just a rectangle, a cube, or a box, however you want to describe it. And what I've done is I've just shrank it a little bit, recolored it, and I've smashed it into the letters. The reason being is I will be able to 3D print this and it won't fall apart when I pick it up. Now, this particular one is quite thin. Let's check the dimensions. It's only 2.5 millimeters tall, which is not very thick at all. So will this last a very long time? Maybe not. If this is being pulled in and out of my backpack or something, it's probably gonna break. Let's make it a little bit thicker. Now that will help, but it'll leave it'll kind of take away a lot of the design from the bottoms of the letters, and that's not super cool. Now what we could do is we could keep this bottom block thin, and let's do 2. That'd be fine. Let's copy and paste this. Control C and V. Command on your keyboard, of course. Now what you could do, if you're using a Mac, is you could put another bar at the top, one at the bottom, one at the top, and in this case it won't take away from your lettering that much, but it's going to reinforce your letters a lot. Now this is going to be super strong, and if you have a multicolor 3D printer, this will look great. You can print those in 2 different colors. If not, print it in 1 color. It'll still look really good, I promise. Let's go ahead and change everything to be the same color and see what it looks like. Let's make it here. Here's it all in blue. It's still totally visible what it is. Now this will lock everything together just quite well. Now remember, when I lift this keychain up from the key ring is at the top left. So this is going to hang down kind of in this angle. That's going to be what your keychain looks like when it hangs. If you want your keychain to hang horizontally, maybe you got to center the key ring pretty much right in the center. Then it'll hang just like this. That'll be alright. It depends on how you want it. You put your key ring over here, and then your key ring will always hang this way. So depending on how you want it, that's how you do your key ring. So let's go ahead and put it back over here. Now I'm gonna highlight both of these items. I'm gonna group them together, and I'm going to export this as an STL. All right, and let's save it on our desktop. Now, in this case, and there it is. So I've got the Creality going on. And in this case, let's import our name keychains. There it is. There's Sarah. And at the moment, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blocks. So it's about 9 centimeters in length. If you want to increase the size, go ahead and do so. Just pull on one of these blocks. This will print without the need of any supports. You don't need to give it much infill. 5, 10, 15% is just fine. I'm using at the moment, it's a 0.4 nozzle. So this will print with great detail. It'll look great, no problem at all. So this is what it looks like on the inside. Perfect, just fine, no issues at all. All right, so let's go ahead back to prepare. Let's push this down off the plate. Oh, if I can grab it, there we go. So that's version 1. Let's jump back into TinkerCAD. Let's give this another go. Now, if you don't like the text tool that you've got in TinkerCAD, you don't need to use it. I've got letters over here that I pulled out from TinkerCAD in the category called letters and numbers. So over here in our shapes library, you've got a bunch of letters that you can use. Now these don't need a backing. They don't need that lock bar because you can literally push them together. See, the B and the U, I think, oh, they're not touching. They're so close, but there's a tiny little gap. Now let's go down here to our snap grid, give it like 0.25. Use the arrow key on your keyboard and you can push those together and that'll lock them together. All right. Now the B and the U, that's okay. Let's check the F and the U. They're definitely locked together, so that's gonna work. Now be careful, look at this. The F and the P are not touching, they're not together. So now we notice that there's this big overlap, and that's what I want. It's not wasting anything. I want that because I need those letters to stick together so that when I print them, it's gonna be a keychain that lasts for a while before it breaks apart. If you have these letters just barely touching, something like this, now indeed those are touching, but that's gonna break, I promise you. That's not gonna last very long. A little overlap like this and you're good to go. Now that's gonna print well and that's gonna be a bond. That's gonna stick together. Yeah, it's possible to break, but it's not easy. I'm gonna show you some infill settings that will bond these two letters together and it'll be very strong. All right, here we go with the D and the U. Tiny bit of overlap. Look at that. That's fine. We've got that overlap. Shall we measure it? Let's go ahead and measure it. Let's zoom in real close. Get our measuring tool. Let's go ahead and measure from here across there. So we got 0.15 millimeters. That's a tiny amount of overlap, but it will stick these letters together forever. All right, so there it is. Now, if you want, this could be your keychain, your key ring, but there's no where to stick your key ring really. So let's go back up to basic shapes and get yourself a ring. Maybe you want this type of ring. Let's go down, and this might be your style. This is the one you want, and maybe that's how you want your key ring. Maybe you want the key ring over here, right here in the middle. By the way, I don't know what this says. Buff pud. I have no idea. I just put letters together. I'm sorry. So you need a key ring. Put that together. Where do you want it? Just put it in there. Okay. The one thing to remember is it's not at all like this. That's not gonna last very long. That's gonna break for sure. Put it together. Like really get it in there. Okay. Make sure that these things are overlapping. If you want it the same height, go ahead and do that too. Just don't make it floating. All right, now that's the same height. If that floats your boat, do it, okay? Maybe you want that just like that. If you want a smaller bit of a keyring, do it. But again, don't make it floating. Even though it kind of looks better overall, nobody wants to read the back of your keyring. So push it down, press the letter D on your keyboard, and let that ride on the bottom. All right, that way you don't need any supports when you're 3D printing. There's no need for it. That's gonna print just fine. It's gonna look fine. Don't worry about it. If it really bothers you, go ahead and make the height the same as the letters. Boom, there you go. No supports, no funky business. All right, now that's one way of doing it. This will print. Let's go ahead and give it a try. If you don't believe me, let's do keychain. This is a name keychain. What is this, version 2 already? So I have this highlighted. I have it selected. When I go to export, I'm only going to export what I got highlighted. So we're on name keychains version 2. All right, let's import it. Let's go name keychains version 2. There it is. Shall we make it bigger? Let's do it. Boom. Shall we slice it? Let's do it. There we go. All right, we're on a 0.4 nozzle. Looking good. Now, notice the U and the F and the P are very much stuck together. If that bothers you, if it doesn't quite look good, you might have to angle your letters a little bit, which is actually okay. Not a big deal. So let's go ahead and get that done. Let's angle our letters. Now, when we're talking about how the U and the F are so stuck together and that you can't really tell the wall between the U and the F and the F and the P, especially the U and the D. See how there's no distinguishing marks between the U and the D? Let's go ahead and fix that a little bit in TinkerCAD, and we'll go to import those, okay? Now, we have not grouped these together. So what we can do is let's just make this one a bit taller. Let's make the U a bit taller. Let's make the D a bit taller. Now we've got this massive height difference. Shall we make the ring a little bit taller? Why not? Let's do it. Not as tall as the letters. Let's just be crazy. Let's just make it different, yeah? All right, now this is keychain, what, version 3? So let's backspace, hit version 3. All right, I'm gonna highlight just what I wanna export, and it's gonna be an STL. Stick it on our desktop, and we're gonna go back into Creality, click on prepare, import version 3. There it is. Now let's blow it up. Let's resize it. Boom, there we go. Now check that out. Small difference, right? But it actually made a huge difference in how it looks. It's got a little bit of style. There's that big difference between the letters. You get shadows all the time. I think that would look a little bit better, and you didn't do anything tricky or spectacular. I mean, all you literally did is like raise up the top a little bit, you know, extend the Z level. So easy fix, and I think it's gonna be a much cooler looking keychain. Much cooler, be way better, right? Okay, but that's not all. Let's go back into TinkerCAD. Let's get rid of this guy. So maybe you want your letters in a different angle, right? All I did was I took these letters here, I copied them, control paste, right? Copy and paste. Let's put these back over here, get rid of those guys. Now I think shrink the height again. That looks good. Back to 4, right? And the last one back to 4, and then we can get going on this. So maybe you want your letters in a vertical arrangement. So my, what is it called? My buff pud. Come here, buff pud. Where's the D? Get over here. All right, highlight these, get these things moved over in the workspace. All right, now I need to first get these aligned on the side. Boom, there it is, all nice and aligned. But do you want them aligned? What if they're not? What if they're actually off center? Now the one thing that we're looking out for is that we've got overlap, and when we've got overlap, we've got a strong keychain. Okay, so now check that out. I've got a buff pud and it's got overlap. Look at the U and the D. That's a strong bond. I can export that. This is gonna last. These are not gonna pull apart. Okay, look at that. that is stuck together, no problem. If I want a little bit more bond, look, I've got 2 points of connection there. It's a little one, but that's all right. It's gonna do really well. Same with this one over here. Shall I try to stick those together? I don't know if I can. Nope, not gonna happen. But that's all right. It's got enough connection. I'm fine with that. Give it a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Let's put a ring on there. How about this guy? Make him a lot smaller. All right, let's get him shrunk in there. All right, looking good. Yeah, what do you think? Yeah, that'll work. That'll totally work. That's cool, man. I like that. All right, so this is another keychain we've just done. This is what version? We're on version 4 now. All right, export that. I'm not gonna stick it in the slicer just yet. Let's just get rid of that. Let's push it away. All right, now what if I want my letters at an angle? That's actually really cool looking. This is pretty sweet. I got my buff pud, and what I've done here is I've taken these particular letters and I just angled them 22.5 degrees, 22.5. So boop, 1 notch, right? Whoa, Control Z, doesn't want to do that. So I've got the D, I take the U, angle that, and I stick that in there somewhere. Now let's line these up. Let's go vertical with these, but they're still at a weird angle, right? So we're gonna make them vertical, but at the same time they're all angled slightly, and that's gonna give it a cool style. Check that out. All right, well, I've got a BU and an F to do. There's the F. Notice that they're all aligned on this particular line on the work plane. They're not exactly centered. I don't need them centered, but they're pretty much in the center. And they're locked together. They're overlapped. That's gonna give it a really cool style. Check that out. BU, and there we go. We're done. All right, give it 2 points of contact. Put a little ring on it, and that's gonna hang down in such a cool way. That's gonna be awesome. Heck yeah, that's gonna be sweet. All right, there we go. I got my buff pud, whatever a buff pud is, and there it is, all lined up. Interesting, I like it. So we highlight that. We're gonna call that what are we on? Number 5 already. Export what I've got highlighted, STL. Boom, there we go. All right, now let's go at a 45-degree angle. Here it is. Boom, 45-degree angle. So I'm gonna copy this, paste that. What did I do to make that? What? Just rearrange the letters. Just go boop, and stick these in there. We're just overlapping them each time, and there it is. Now when this hangs down, it's gonna look like this. The ring definitely doesn't need to go there. Let's do that. All right, that's pretty cool. That's gonna be all right. Not bad at all. Now you want to get more creative? Go ahead. Let's make the capital B. Boom. Let's make it taller too. And let's make the F taller. Boom. The U, why not? Great. Alright, so now we've got more variety in our keychain, except the ring is not okay. There we go, that looks alright. Now we've got the big B and the UFPUD buff pud, but again, since we've got different heights, that's going to give it a little bit more style and creativity, right? Now, let's go back to our first, second, third version. I already forgot. I can't remember it all. Let's say we don't like the font of these shapes over here in the letters and numbers library. So, yep, I don't like it. I can't work with that. So let's go back to basic shapes. Boom. And then take our text tool, pop that in there. I'm gonna work way up here in the corner, get rid of these guys. Sorry, I have to create a bit of space for our stuff. Let's try that one more time. I can't select. Here it goes. There we go. Got it. All right. Now I've got my text tool, and let's go ahead and get Johnny in here. Now Johnny forgot to capitalize his name. What? Looks capitalized. Let's check that one more time. There it is. Okay, so Johnny, here you go. You want to change the font? Let's do it. There's the one Johnny, 2 Johnnies. There's a 3rd Johnny. Let's go with that one. All right, now Johnny, the letters are not connected, and we already talked about at the beginning of the video this little connecting bar that we could make, and we can kind of shove that in there. Let's lower it down a little bit and stretch it across. Okay, my letters are connected, but don't really like the bar in there that much, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Let's get one of these shapes. What's a 6-sided shape? Give that 2 millimeters. That's fine. All right, so we've got the hex of a gon. It's hexagonal. All right, now the distance from my J to the edge should be similar to the top of the J to the edge. I don't need it perfect, but you know, pretty good. Let's go check over here. The Y. Now this is gonna be double what this is. Well, because you know the Y doesn't go up like the Y goes down. So I think that's all right. It's not perfect, but it could be. Shall we highlight them? Use the align tool, stick that right in the center, and stick that right in the center. There we go. So we had it pretty close already. Now Johnny needs a key ring. Yeah, so let's go ahead and give him a key ring. So we can give him a hexagonal key ring, and in fact we can give him a few of them, and that way, whoop, you can test this out in different positions, as well as it just looks cool. It saves plastic, saves print time because it's got holes in it. I'm just copying and pasting. I'm just moving them over. Let's do one more. Why not? Let's put that over there. Boom. All right, is that all right? Let's highlight all this. Now I'm highlighting this so I can group it to cut those holes. And I now have a 4-hole keychain. So it's got a hexagon with hexagon holes and my name. If I have a multicolor printer, right, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make sure that I print these in different colors, whatever color that you want, obviously. So that's pretty sweet. I like that. You can put your key ring on the left, on the top, on the right, on the bottom. You can hang it from any way that you want. You could even weave this. You could sew this onto some fabric, onto a shirt or whatever. Yeah, pretty cool. All right, so that is another way of making a keychain, and this particular keychain will be incredibly strong. Gosh, this must be number 6. Yeah, here it goes. Send it away. All right, now let's make some keychains that can stand up. Let's make our buff pud one. Let's make this stand up first. Let's just get our text, copy and paste, put this over here. Now this keychain is gonna be kind of a vertical keychain. I'm gonna have to orbit around here. I'm holding shift. That didn't work very well, did it? Hold shift one more time. There we go. Now I'm gonna hit the letter D, raise that onto the bed, and that looks great. Now in this case I might be able to put a base on this. In fact, this will stand up wherever I put it anyway. So if I just made this a little deeper, it would be great. This would just stand up wherever I put it. I just put it on my desk, put it on my table. Boom, there it is. Nice, man. But maybe I want to make this stand up, but I also want to make it kind of useful. So why don't I do this? And gonna make my letters. Let's make the box a little bit bigger than the letters, not too much, just a tiny bit. That'll work. And let's hollow this out. So I'm gonna copy and paste this thing, and I'm gonna turn it into a hole. I'm gonna make it a bit smaller. Let's raise it up after we stick it in there. Doot, 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 doot. Now I could use the align tool, but I've pretty much got this already. This looks okay already. Now let's go ahead and bring this side in a little bit. Alright, it's not a perfect hole, but it's gonna work for video's sake. Alright, if you wanted this to be exactly perfect. You take the measurement, you've got 20 by 68. Take your hole and measure that, and then cut off exactly 2. So we got 18 there, and then the width was 68 on the box, so we make it what, 66? And then you highlight those 2. You gotta align them. Hello, there we go. Put that in the center, move way over here, put that in the center, and now you've got a perfect box with the sides that are all exactly the same. Cool, man. All right, highlight, and let's cut the hole out of that. Check it out. We've got a useful name tag box looking thing, and we don't need supports to print it. Even the F, it's small enough that the printer will print right through that. Okay, one more thing to check. Oh, look at that. That's not so good. Our words are inside of the box. The letters are. So let's just move our box over a little bit. There we go. Cool. And there it is. Let's see. If you want this to be a bit smaller, there it is. There. That looks a little bit better. More proportional. Okay. How about something a bit more useful? Take our box. Zoop. Now it's a pencil box. It's tall enough you can put your pencils in there. If you really want, you can raise your name up. If you want to get really creative, you go ahead and like raise one letter up at a time. Maybe angle your F. Let's angle it back and raise that up. Raise up our U a little bit, and then the D we're gonna tilt and raise up a tiny bit as well. So pretty cool. I like it. And then useful. We've got a pencil cup with our name on it. Nice. So I suppose we go ahead and group that. What is this? I think we went away from our keychains a little bit. Sorry. This guy gets distracted. So highlight that. Export. STO. Save it. Alright, jump back in here. Now I'm going to move these a little bit off of the print bed here. And I'm going to go with 7 all the way through 4. I think those are the ones we haven't seen yet. Yeah. And let's see if I can get those in. Sorry, I forgot. Let's do one at a time. Creality doesn't like that. There we go. Alright, so we've got these keychains in here. And they're all looking good. Now, notice none of these are going to require any support or anything. This one's probably going to have to be a lot bigger. This one looks alright too. And that's fine. These are going to print perfectly. They're going to do really well. No supports, nothing. And they're going to be great. Your friends are going to love them as well. And if you got multicolor filament printer, do it, use it. It'll come out some spectacular. Okay. Anyway, if you've got any questions for me, leave it in the comments. I promise I'll get back to you. See ya.